Welcome to the Movie Overload podcast, where we cover 100 films through the history of cinema, from A Trip to the Moon to Parasite and everything in between. Except Woody Allen.
Fuck Woody Allen.
Yeah,
Man. Man,
you're supposed to whisper that part. I forgot.
That's going to be the original bit of our ASMR podcast. It's just like, fuck Woody Allen repeated 3,000 times.
Woody Allen.
I don't know much about that guy, but I mean, I'm kind of on your team regardless.
Hey,
Right.
Sweet.
who's
I
that
mean,
guy
I
in the
don't-
corner?
Wait, who?
Whoa.
Sorry.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Whoa. Hi, guys. My name's Silas.
What up, Silas?
Yeah, hey,
Bro.
woo.
Friend of the pod.
Man, it's great to be here.
Probably
I've always
the
wanted
friend
to.
of the pod.
Seriously.
Yeah, I've always
truly.
wanted to say that on a podcast. Like, it's great to be here. You know, like,
Wow,
thank you so
yeah.
much for having me on.
I feel touched.
Yeah.
And I
It's-
am
It's
Hannah.
my dream.
I'm Reese.
I'm Hunter.
No, you're not.
No. Get out. We can only have 3 people at a time. What the hell are you doing?
You
here?
always
Four
do this,
people?
man. Like every time.
I'm pretty sure we told you we're not doing it this week. You are
okay.
not welcome.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna be off for a few episodes, these are the ones.
That's
Oh,
fair.
Roasted,
No,
but
these are
I
gonna be
feel
fun.
you.
Yeah,
It's gonna
I
be
think
good.
we're all in the same boat on that.
It was actually
Yeah.
like they were all so, like, they were difficult to get through in the same way.
Yeah,
You
which made it
know?
really hard.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's
Anyway.
it's the idea of what people have about old movies is basically what these movies were. Is like,
Yes.
old movies are boring, and
It's like,
nothing
I
happens, and they're
understand.
useless, and they don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
And
And
I
here
don't
we
know.
are.
and here we are actually dealing with those after doing like 8 episodes of really good movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to the point that like A Star Is Born, which is a great movie, was a movie
Right.
that I was like, that's probably my least favorite of all of these, despite it being really, really good.
Really
Yeah,
good.
And me
Still
just
have fun with
wishing
it.
I was watching that movie like 100
Yeah.
times over during these 3. I mean, not that we're banking them, obviously. Like this
we
is
never bank
We're just thinking about the 3
if we did.
next episodes. But
Yeah.
we wouldn't. Of course, we wouldn't be recording multiple on the same day because that would be really morally
Disgraceful.
disgusting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Irresponsible.
I doubt that's gonna. I mean, next week when I come out again, am I good to
right.
join your show? Like,
Yeah.
Can I, am I good
No,
for
yeah. If
next
you want to
week?
fly
Yeah.
out again, then
No,
that's
I'd love
totally
to.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's from
Okay.
out of
I'll-
state.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to
We've
join
been
us for that
blessed.
episode, that'd be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got that. We got that scheduled out. That's nice. So we'll have two guest appearances within our first 10
Let's go.
episodes.
Awesome.
This is interesting. Yeah. I was thinking we'd probably
Double
like,
whammy.
when we're starting the podcast have some guest episodes, but like I was questioning whether or not it was going to actually happen because the idea of the format is that like if we had a guest, they might actually have to be presenting a movie, and that's a lot of
Right.
work. And you got to have somebody on there that you trust.
Yeah.
That's going to do that research, So I don't know. Like we'll see
Yeah,
what you got, man. I
yeah,
hope you got
I
something
mean,
prepared.
I am the Snow
You know?
White master. I mean, I
Okay.
know all about this movie. Like, I got it. I got all my bases covered.
Oh my
Nice.
God. Tell me
All
everything
7
you
of
know.
them.
I need to know
Ha
everything.
ha ha.
Just a good one.
Yep.
I choked on my own laughter there.
That's
Good
it's a bit
times.
rough.
Good times. So let's talk about that.
Let's
Yeah,
jump
yeah.
into that.
Let's
that
talk about
abstract boy.
Snow
Yeah,
White and the
absolutely.
Seven Dwarfs. How did that make you feel?
Yeah, so I mean, this movie, it belongs on this list for sure. Like, it's definitely very significant, relevant, etc. Made a butt ton of money. We'll get into that later, but it was like, yeah, just really significant. Everyone remembers it even now, why we're talking about it. So it's good. It's a good movie, and yeah, so it's relevant because it was like one of the earliest full-length feature animated films, and there's a few others before that, but people mostly have forgotten about those, and this is the one that's like stuck around.
Gotcha.
But there's still a few, but you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So that's just why it's important and why it's good. It came out February 4th, 1938. That's like the release, the first release. It had several, but it was directed by a guy named David Hand. So yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, it's
the
good.
man, the
pretty-
man, the hand.
Good stuff. I'm intrigued.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
So-
that's one of those last names where it's like, I don't know. There's some last names that are just like,
It's like, did he come up with that himself? Was that like
Right.
actually what he was born with? And like,
yeah.
so many last names are like based off of like, your ancestors' like jobs or whatever,
Yeah.
or like names.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
like
a talented guy
Robin's
for sure.
son,
like,
son of Robin,
yeah.
but like, what is his
Right.
hand?
What was he doing?
Like, does that mean his dad was a farmhand, or was he just hands?
He was a hand model for the Allstate commercials.
Yeah, that makes so much
That's
sense.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, when did Allstate start? I assume you have that information in your report.
Oh, when Allstate, yeah. I mean, I know all about that.
When did that original
Makes sense.
campaign, the "Are You in Good Hands" thing?
Yeah.
began?
Yeah, so yeah, I guess I'll jump into the plot then, or like.
Please do.
Please.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so there's this
quick
old
rundown.
witch, and she has like this mirror, right? And so she's in her little witch area, and she's like, "All right, mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me who's the fairest one of all."
Spooky.
And like this mirror shows her Snow White, and then Snow White, she's just like frolicking with the like animals. And this, I think, is where the whole trope of like using animals, like excessive animal use in animated films, I think that's where that like started. Is like
Excessive
from Snow
animal
White.
use.
Is they're like, oh, everyone loves Snow White, and there's a lot of animals in there, so let's just toss animals in every other animated film, you know? So, yeah, I think that's where that started. But anyway, yeah, so she gets jealous. She wants to be that fair, but she's just this ugly witch, you know? So it's like she can't have that, but like she wants it. And so that's kind of where the conflict lies, is like now she's going to try to go and use like deceptive deception and tricks and bamboozlement and trickery to like go get Snow White. And then there's this prince that like gets roped into. I mean, he's pretty generic, like from what I understood. He's pretty
very
just like,
beautiful. How dare you?
yeah, he's kind of just there. No, I mean, generic as in beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. You know, like you know exactly what I meant.
He doesn't really do anything.
He doesn't. He's
That-
entirely
yeah.
useless, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a pretty
Shows
face.
it twice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just yeah,
It's nice to see that in a movie where a guy is just the useless.
I
Pretty
actually
face.
really
Right.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Kinda.
He has no agency.
Yeah.
It's a nice little swap.
Screw that guy.
Yeah,
I don't need you.
it's kind of great.
I don't
And also,
need you.
Snow White is supposed to be like 14. How old is this kid?
Oh gosh,
Like, is he creeping?
is he? Oh, I mean, she was pretty freaked out by him.
Yeah.
At first, you know?
Yeah,
He just
I
comes
mean-
up and he's
I
like,
mean,
let me join
you
your
know
song.
how Romeo and Juliet went, right? Like that's like that
Right.
age gap is huge. I mean, that's
Yeah.
wild. Like it's mind-boggling. I don't like that. You know.
You know,
If
Like,
this guy
do you
was
guys like
like
that?
18
Yes
or
or no?
19 even,
no.
and he's like, look at that 14.
creeping on a
Yeah.
14-year-old. That's pretty messed up.
She cute. And it's
rough.
like, what,
Ugh,
sir?
yikes.
Hey.
No.
I mean, depending on like what the laws were like. I mean, I'm pretty sure back in the 30s you could get married at like 15.
Oh, wow.
True.
So
And
it's
she
like
was
less.
living
'Cause he
with
probably
like
died
7 really
earlier,
old
too,
men.
Yeah.
So maybe this was an improvement, actually.
It could have.
Sorry. I made that. I twisted it a
This is a
little.
All right.
dark twist.
But I don't like this movie.
So I
think
kind of
about it.
zoned out
Appreciate it.
when you said that. So I actually don't know what you said. So I'm sorry. This is a dead end right here. Yeah.
It's all right. Don't.
I'm
don't
going to
worry
go.
about
So yeah,
Bye.
this is a foul ball. We have to restart.
Okay.
Okay, it's all good.
Welcome to the Movie Overload podcast.
Sorry guys, I'm that
We
guest
ignore
that's gonna
Hannah.
just tank the episode. So
No.
good luck with your damage control. All right, it'll be okay.
Damage
All right,
control
so
is
I'm just
for
gonna
me.
dip into this budget thing. I want to get through all this info just so we can get to the juicy convo. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah,
we
man.
want to
Sure.
get it all juicy. So
I'm here for the juice.
all right, so the budget info is that it took $1.3 million to make, and so obviously now that's like a lot more. I don't know how much more, but I tried to like calculate it out, and it seemed to me to total around like 18 million or something now.
Dang.
But it might be more. I don't know. My math isn't great, so
It's not bad.
yeah, it's like, yeah, math is one of those things where like everyone expects everyone to do it, but then it's like half the population just can't do it when you ask them on the spot. So that's
Right.
kind of what happened to me. Yeah.
That's
But anyway,
facts. Yeah.
so because it was their first full-length feature film, they really wanted to do it justice when they were creating it. So they actually invented a whole new camera for it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
like just for
So-
like kind of scanning, I guess the sheets, or I don't know how that animation process
Right.
works,
Yeah. So
but-
I think like they just made the background, like for generic cartoons, they would just do the background as like one thing, and then they would have like everything else animated on top of it. But with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they actually invented their own multi-plane camera for it to give it like
okay.
3 dimensions.
That's
And so
really
they
cool.
used that for some. Yeah. There's a really cool shot. A little, not very far into it. It's like early in the film. There's like this well where you're like through the well, like through the bottom of the well, you can see her looking into it.
That was
That was
And
crazy.
yeah, that was a nutty shot. I love that. But yeah, so they used that to, deliver those types of shots throughout the movie. But
That blew my mind. I have no idea how they animated that bit. Like that was
Yeah.
definitely a standout shot where it was just like her face ripples in this way that looks like hyper realistic. Like it doesn't look like they just animated water in this weird way. Like it was very believable.
Yeah,
That's
it was
true.
like the anime water ripples kind of like.
Right.
I really enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It definitely didn't have the like. I don't know. I call it Miyazaki water, where it's like
That's a
everything
good
is
term.
like this like giant.
I'm gonna
like,
use that term.
globules, and they're like,
Right.
it's gorgeous. But yeah, it didn't really do that. It was definitely seemed to go for more realism, except for the dwarves and the animals. Everything else like looked pretty realistic.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
real swirly. You know.
I
Yeah.
thought her. I don't know why I was looking at this or judging her. I don't know, but I was like, her mannerisms were very distinct. Like, I don't really remember seeing that in a time before this movie. That totally, as I said earlier today, like set the bar for Disney princesses. Just the way she holds
Right.
her arms out and is very like frolicky and whimsical. I was like, where did this come from? Did little girls walk like this? Like,
Right. Yeah.
that's not very realistic.
Yeah, that's
But
the
it
kind of thing I
totally
was
created
wondering.
this stereotype of the Disney princess.
Right.
Yeah.
It is weird because it's like somehow that kind of thing just like gets shoved into art and it like isn't
Yeah.
really reflecting reality, but then it informs reality in
Yes.
a weird way,
Mhm.
and then
then
people
we
feel
all
like they have to act that way.
Follow that. Yeah.
Right. And it's
Very
like, but this is
interesting.
very clearly based off of something unrealistic. If somebody is able to act this way because they were animated that way and they're not a real person, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
put
kind of
your
like,
arms down, Snow White.
Right.
Damn
You're
it.
making it harder for the rest of us.
Yeah, I do remember.
tired.
Arms are tired.
Yeah. I do remember as like a young kid, like trying to imitate movements from movies, like of different characters. Trying to think specifics, but yeah, that kind of held my attention for a while. So
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, I don't know how it was for you guys, but I was always trying to, you know, mimic Gollum, you know, like just wearing the loincloth and hunching over
That
and
explains
well,
so
you wore the
much,
loincloth.
Reese.
You went the extra mile, man.
Dedication.
You got some VHS tapes
it was,
lying around?
it was pretty I wonder. Yeah. Just everything was my precious and, you know, always stealing people's rings,
I'm afraid.
you know, always wanting to like bite somebody's finger off but like not quite having the energy,
Uh-oh.
you know, just a little too nervous of like getting in trouble, you know. But I would have done it, you know. I would have done it to like fulfill that like, you know, character role.
You had the
Because
capacity
movies,
for it,
you know,
yeah.
inform my life in that way, you know. There's no morality in characters' actions. I think we can all agree on that. Whatever you see on film is something you definitely should replicate,
Yes.
for sure.
Always.
100 every
Every
time.
time.
Emulate,
No question.
emulate.
Right. Which is I don't, never mind, I'm not going to go there. We've just
Anyway.
yeah, no,
You
there-
turned
there's-
into a dark alleyway. Continue? Yes or no?
I like to emulate Snow White by giving my friends apples
Yeah.
Whoa.
that's
Beautiful.
nice.
to
Wonder-
be nice to them.
Yeah, that's
That was beautiful.
and I
Thank you.
I like to mimic the dwarves by being the opposite of an unrealistic body standard.
I also mimic the dwarves by being very short. And I have a beard.
Really? Yeah, okay, I was wondering how you
I just shaved this morning.
okay.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Gotta keep it under wraps.
Because like on the last episode I didn't really want to, you know, it's an audio podcast, so I didn't really want to comment on it, but
Yeah.
it was like it's impressive how you can grow those so fast.
I know. Like, if I sound muffled ever, it's just because of all the facial hair.
Right. It's hard to speak through. You
It
know?
is.
Yeah.
Just, like, covers everything.
Right.
The mouth. Yeah.
I mean, obviously I know what that's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'm
We
just at
all
the point
do.
I have to shave every day, you know, or else it's there and it's like,
Right.
man, damn.
Beards,
Yeah,
man.
you guys wouldn't know it, but we're basically like a Duck Dynasty kind of podcast. Like we've all just got these massive beards going all the way down.
And overalls and flannels.
Yeah, we're super cool. When we're not like, actually, sometimes we'll record while we're putting together the duck calls, but like
Yes.
a lot of times, you know, we don't have. We've already
Yeah.
finished our job for the day, and we record really late at night. So
It's 2 a.m.
I'm so tired.
Yeah.
The sun is shining.
It happens.
Well,
The clouds are out.
if the sun is shining, we would
I
not
mean,
know.
Yeah.
I don't know how we'll be able to manage
2
this next
a.m..
week. Like,
Anyway. I
yeah. So
digress.
back to the back to the scheduled program.
Thanks, program.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I mean, it's not, you
Paid
know.
for by viewers like you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Side plug.
Yeah, that's pretty goofy.
What if we did ad reads one day?
That would be fun.
We
I want to
could.
do one for Squarespace and just like the
Ooh.
entire time have like a really weird like try out Squarespace.
Please.
No.
Just make a website. It's easy. I would love to do just a
That's the
really
best.
shitty ad read like that.
Okay.
Ugh. Anyway, sorry.
Let's
day.
go. Okay.
Programming.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot more to it, but I do want to bring up they actually have the Guinness World Record for first. Here, let me check on it real quick. But I think it's like first full-length animated. They might have been given the record for it, but no, it was highest grossing animation at the domestic box office,
Okay.
adjusted for inflation. So
Gotcha.
it's still the
Dang.
most.
So
Yeah.
That's crazy.
he's up there. That's crazy. I would not have thought that, but I guess it makes
Yeah,
sense.
it
if
got
it's, like, the
released like
first
7
one.
times,
Right.
like
or you know.
or like a lot, like several times.
Oh,
But,
and they just like incorporate all of that.
yeah,
Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
like,
okay,
they
so these
released
have the
it,
benefit
like-
of time.
yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Like Inception's probably way higher up there now.
Maybe,
on
yeah.
the list of like highest grossing movies after its second release. If anybody actually went to
True.
go
I was
see
gonna
it,
say,
like,
I don't
we
know
did.
how popular it was.
But like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
wish I got to go
people
see
are afraid to go to movies right now, understandably.
Right.
And like right now
Weirdos.
where we are, it's like even more like I don't want to go out anywhere because
Yeah.
like not only is there COVID, but there's also just like ash everywhere. Like you go outside and your car is covered in ash and our voices are dead.
Yeah.
My eyes burn all the time.
I know, it's
My
so
contacts
awful.
always feel like they're gonna pop right out.
It's so bad right now. I
Yeah,
hope
it's-
it'll go away.
Yeah, so the
And
world is ending.
That's the fun thing, though, is we don't even have to disclose what location we're in to talk about all the forest fires and the fact that
True.
there's ash everywhere, because that's a lot of places right now.
The world is literally burning to
And
the
depending
ground.
on when you're listening to this, like, I mean, you don't even know which one it was.
Yeah.
You know?
Privacy
Yeah.
is power.
It's pretty great, actually.
And my car
Heck
is
yeah.
covered in ashes. And I'm scared.
It's so sad.
Anyway,
Our beautiful world is burning to the ground.
it is very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a real shame.
You're
I mean, I
ashamed?
like the world, you know, like it's kind of nice. You know,
I would like it to stick around.
It's kind of good. Yeah,
That would have been a funny visual if we actually recorded our podcast.
I mean, yeah,
episode.
we just got to get a camera out there in that field, and we're like, you know what, I like this. Let's keep this. You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
it's a beautiful thing.
You know,
It's
maybe in the
beautiful.
future, if nature ever recovers, we can record our ASMR podcasts out in the forest.
Oh, yes.
With birds chirping in the
Nature.
background,
Yes.
and there's a moose charging us from behind that we can't see, and we're just like,
Lovely.
movie.
Oh. Mm.
If you say fuck twice, it's rated R.
Yeah.
Like, you know how aggressive the meese are, like
The meese,
around here.
yeah.
Yeah. They're,
Silas.
there have been several deaths. So.
Can I ask you a Snow White
Few.
question?
Sure.
Can you tell me about the forest and why it still scars me today?
It's creepy
Because it was
as hell.
fucking scary. Like,
Thank you.
I mean, that's the only
Speaking
reason.
of woods,
Right.
Like,
It's pretty bad.
that's
It's
me.
awesome.
I mean, I know she just went through a very traumatic experience, and I would view the woods the same way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But what the heck?
I do think it's a really, really cool way to like visualize that kind of terror.
Right.
The
though. It's
fear,
like
yeah.
Everything
It is
looks like
cool.
it's, you know, some
Right.
creepy monster out to get you, and it's just a
Mhm.
branch
Yeah,
or whatever.
and I think they do some of that in Alice in Wonderland too.
Yeah.
But that's more of like fantasy. And Snow
Mhm.
White, it was more just like she's so scared, and when the branches turned into hands and we're just grabbing at her, I was like,
right. Like
"This is kind of
and
scary."
it just like intercuts really fast between her
Yeah.
like freaking out in like the forest, and like it does
Yeah.
it really fast, and it's just so
It's
tense.
kind of
and creepy, and
psychological,
Yeah.
It
and
was
I
like-
dig it.
It's kind of awesome.
Mhm. It
was
That's
set
probably like the standout scene for me.
Yeah.
I thought so too.
It's funny
Yeah.
because like it is set in a fantasy, so like if they
True.
wanted to do a magic, evil, dark forest, they could.
Mm-hmm.
But
They
it felt like
didn't.
it was definitely being like it's a normal thing, and then it like kind of transitions into like something monstrous, and it's like
Yeah.
oh, she's projecting and
Yeah,
just
right.
fear, and she's panicking.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
she's a 14-year-old girl who
Yeah.
almost got murdered. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
I would do the same thing.
just
no wonder
because
she's
that queen's like, I
freaking
want to be the
out.
prettiest one.
Jealous as
Kill
a
the
bitch.
14-year-old girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, women actually act like that.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that yet, but you know,
Yeah.
I will someday, I'm sure.
I believe in you.
My goal is to get progressively just prettier as I age
Yeah.
until like
Someone will be
people
out to
hate
get
me.
you.
Just people are just gonna hate me. They're just like, man,
Somebody hates me.
you're so damn gorgeous. I can't Go die.
So
Kind of
damn
like
gorgeous.
Instagram models, you know. Like,
I'm gonna have you killed.
Let me just get one more look at you.
I'm gonna cry.
Pit in my stomach. This is the pit in
Too
my stomach.
soon,
This is the
too
pit in my stomach. It
soon.
widens. It widens. It's expanding. It doesn't contract. It just keeps expanding.
Yes.
Exactly.
It keeps going.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So I looked it up, and Snow White was re-released 7 times. So just want to
Whoa,
set that in
that's
stone.
accurate.
Perfect number.
That's like appropriate for
Yeah.
the dwarves.
So that's how they made so much money, is they actually kind of cheated the system and they re-released it numerous
Rude.
times.
Right.
So like I don't know what the actual highest grossing animated film is that hasn't been re-released. So
That is an
but
interesting thought.
that's a good
yeah.
question.
I mean, so you're saying the first time it was released by RKO, which,
Yeah.
did like
Second
King
time
Kong
was
a bunch
Buena
of-
Vista Studios, which I think later may have turned into Disney. I'm not entirely
Right.
But
Well, yeah, a lot of old Disney movies have like the little Buena Vista logo
Yeah.
at the
Right.
beginning, so
That'd be
that makes
connected.
sense.
True.
Yeah, I don't really know how that worked, but I thought that was a Disney company.
right.
Well, yeah. Also, wasn't that like a thing like back in the days of the VHSs when they have like a trailer for some like direct-to-video Disney movie? It's like
Ugh.
coming soon to like Buena Vista Home
Yeah,
Entertainment or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a memory I didn't know I had.
Oh man,
Whoa.
dang your all those classic like Walt Disney Home Video like
Yeah.
ads at the beginning when you just want to watch Winnie the Pooh and
Come on, man.
you just got to sit through all these ads for like the Fox and the Hound 2 and it's
Yeah.
just still not
Again.
interesting. Yeah.
I'm just a little sad about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I love Winnie the Pooh. I was reading recently one of the highest grossing franchises of all time, like up there with Star Wars and Pokemon. Somehow, Winnie the Pooh.
The heck?
Is that mind blowing to anyone else? Because
Yeah.
like,
I'm inspired.
It's
yeah,
weird.
like you can just be a cute little bear and still make a lot of money.
You can love
This
eating
is
and
our
sleeping
society
like
where
me.
we're like, wow, isn't that inspirational? You can just have money all the time and be cute and still be a capitalist pig.
I would love
So
to
great.
see a Thug Life
Still be a
compilation of
capitalist
like
pig.
Winnie the Pooh. Like
It's weird how much money that like small cute little bear has made somebody, you know?
Like,
It's true.
I mean,
Go-
look at the
good for
porgs, you
them.
know. Like
Yeah.
like
I mean,
he's
Paddington
a little
too, probably.
chubby,
Yeah.
Bedadding.
and he just likes
He's a chubby little
food.
cubby all stuffed with fluff.
Yeah, and they just like food and sleep.
And
I
sometimes
just have
he
never
gets
related
stuck
more.
in Rabbit's hole. And
Yeah, and I feel
somebody
that.
has to draw a face on his butt.
Like,
Stick
that
antlers
is
on
just
it.
someone's
so
got to
relatable
unclog the
and
drain.
insightful.
Know what
Man,
I'm
that's
saying?
definitely
Yeah.
happened to me before. Keeping that
I was there, Reese.
unrealistic body standard
was
alive. The dad bod.
Good stuff. Keep it alive.
Yeah.
We're staying very on track today. Hunter's hair is also amazing. This is why we need visuals with this
Oh
podcast.
man, it'd be so good.
Because the visuals today have been immaculate.
Yeah, you are a very gorgeous man.
Thank you. I
think
hope
that's-
I'm not so gorgeous that you are driven to commit murder.
Not quite yet.
Or
I'm getting
to
there.
tell someone else
But you know,
to commit
I
murder.
do plan on being the most gorgeous person on the podcast. So everybody look out.
I mean,
Either
no.
get
I
uglier
think you're there.
or look out.
I gotta go grow my beard back.
Hunter, if you could just like get a unibrow for me, that'd
be great.
be great. I'll bring in some fake moles for when we record.
I mean,
so at least
thank you.
while we're
Yeah.
recording, I can feel like the most attractive person on the pod.
All this ash has like opened my pores, and now I'm super ugly. So like, you're welcome.
Yeah,
There you go.
thanks.
Yeah,
Let's open
I
your
appreciate
pores.
it. If you
that's
guys
how
want
that
to just
works.
like
Don't question
Cool.
it.
rub some like
Nice.
old like uncooked bacon on your face before we record, that could also help. I think.
I could start.
Good to know.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Honestly, I mean, the whole thing right now is maskne.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, people's acne is getting worse because of wearing masks all the
I
time.
am
So
definitely experiencing
definitely
this.
happening.
I'm just, yeah,
I,
like just
I
gonna get
have-
uglier
just go all
because
out.
I try to be safe.
Be like, no, I am an acne. Yes,
I'm
my face
an
is
acne.
one acne. Thank you.
I'm one big
Acne.
acne,
Yeah,
and I
That's
regret
the goal.
nothing because Reese is the loveliest,
No.
I'm
the
the
fairest.
fairest of them
the
all.
fairest lady in the land.
I might be the palest one on the pod.
I don't
It's
know.
possible.
Hard to measure.
That's my new hashtag on Instagram. Palest of the pod.
yeah.
Side plug. Go follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, what's the handle on that?
Movie Overload Pod on Instagram and Movie Overload _ on Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeet.
that's cool.
We accept hate tweets.
We really, please, and please just give us the 5-star rating, and again, just abuse us, cuss us out in the
Truly.
chat, whatever.
Or just like
But just like give us 5 stars.
Yeah, or like tag us on Twitter and just put hashtag fuck Woody Allen. And like, I will.
That's fine.
Make it
I
trending.
will love you forever.
If we
good
get
one.
that trending,
I will-
guys, could we just get that trending?
Let's get that trending, and I will
put-
give you a
just
shout
do
out
it.
on the podcast.
Whoa.
I know, generous.
Millions of people are going to hear that.
Oh.
You're basically famous if you get a shout out on this pod.
Okay,
Yeah.
a select few
Right.
will receive a shout out
yeah.
on Twitter
We'll
with the hashtag.
we'll randomize
Woody
it.
Allen.
And it's so much exposure at this point that like trust me, it's worth it. We don't even,
True.
a lot of like lesser pods would like give out a $10 Amazon gift card if you, whatever. Or
Oh my
something like,
God.
oh my, you might win. But we don't need to do any of that shit because like you're basically making millions just by getting a shout out on this podcast.
That's
'Cause
what
all
I'm
of a sudden
saying.
you've got a following.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're going to be in all of these movies. Like
Yeah.
you're going to get a big deal.
Like,
you're
you're
going to be
welcome.
in
Yeah.
Wes Anderson's next movie. I know he listens to this.
The Italian
Shout
Dispatch.
out to Wes.
What up, Wes? Love
Yeah.
you, buddy.
You're welcome. This is going to be your first financially successful movie because we called you out, man.
Yep.
That's us.
We are so distracted right now.
I mean,
Silas.
Snow White, like, it's kind of just there. Like, I mean, yeah, like, they went along, they did their... Can I spoil it? Like, am I
Yeah.
allowed to...
Go ahead.
Am I allowed to?
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
so
Yes.
Snow
Snow
White,
White.
what ends up happening is, like,
dies.
she gets bamboozled by one of Hunter's apples, and, like, the witch gives it to her, and she eats it. And then she,
No.
like, it's poison, right? But then the prince comes and, like, has to save her, and then there you go. And then the witch was defeated, and then all
that was
the
so funny.
animals said hooray, and that was it.
Bamboozled again.
I laughed
So-
so hard when she fell off the cliff. It was so funny. It was just so comical to me for some reason.
And
That-
the dancing and the...
It just was so random. She's just like running away and being like, "Meh," and then she's like, "Take this boulder," and then she just
Take
crushes
this
herself at the
boulder.
boulder.
Is that just a
I was
boulder?
like,
It's a rock. And that really pisses me off that like Prince Charming over here is completely useless.
It really
he
is.
comes over and he's just like, I got big full red lips. I'm going to kiss a sleeping 14-year-old
Yeah,
girl.
oh here she is. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna kiss her, and then that like saves
And
the
all those
day.
old dudes are like, yeah, go
They're like, do it, do it,
do it.
do it.
Do it. And they're all just
Men,
standing around watching.
I swear, men. They're just
I mean,
trash.
really,
Not a
the
good
only,
time,
Trash.
the
actually,
only
yeah.
person who does anything interesting in this movie is the queen.
Yeah.
I feel like she's the only one who actually like does a thing intentionally.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Mother Gothel for sure was like very directly that transition from
Yeah.
young to old was like
And who
I was like, oh, I'm watching
uh,
Tangled. Prehistoric.
Susan Sarandon's character, and is that who played the queen in Enchanted?
I
think
don't
it
remember,
was.
but I'm gonna take your
No.
word for it.
I'm gonna go for it.
Do it.
It's
Hey,
basically
Susan.
exactly Snow White. Like
don't
Enchanted
know.
is really just kind of straight Snow White. But
Yeah,
with the
it is,
Cinderella
yeah.
dress.
Yes.
Yeah,
Weird.
and with Amy Adams being,
I mean, that's a
the-
really
the
Amy
least
Adams
enjoyable
role,
version
you
of
know?
Amy Adams.
Like,
And a dragon on top of a tower, which is kind of King Kong vibes.
yeah, it's kind of
Ooh.
King Kong. It's kind of Sleeping Beauty.
Yes.
So it's like, I guess it is. They just kind of mix all of them together. But for
What's
some
up
reason, it
with-
feels most Snow White to me.
What's up with Disney princesses just falling asleep and princess needing to kiss them? Like, who made that executive
Yeah,
decision?
you're right. It is
Some
Susan
white
Sarandon.
guy.
I mean, yeah, it's this consistent,
Was
just
it
like they're all
Disney?
sleepy. Like,
Alt?
what's going
It
on there?
might have been
I don't
Alt.
know.
My bro.
That boy.
Yeah, it's
So
confusing.
I'm also surprised that he never directed any of that stuff.
True.
You know,
That's
Right.
interesting.
Did he just produce things? What was his deal?
Yeah, like his involvement. I mean, I know he was involved, but like, yeah, he didn't. It was that David Hand guy. But yeah, it's like it's weird.
I mean, I guess he created Mickey and created Oswald, but like,
yeah.
We love them.
And there was he actually created Walt Disney created a lot of his stuff with the help of like one other person. I forget his name, but and then he's
Exactly.
not, and that other
That's the
person is
point.
never credited, which is why I don't remember his name on the spot right
yeah,
now.
that kind of sucks.
Yeah, and so it's like literally all these films. It's like technically it should be the Walt Disney and this other guy's name company, but it's just Walt's company because it's how things played out.
Yeah, depression.
Yep.
We
We
love
remember
Walt.
we remember Walt. We love Walt, but also, didn't he like? He was like pretty heavy into the like utopian concepts, right? I remember
Yeah.
hearing that he wanted to make like Walt Disney World like a kind of weird utopian like cult thing. I don't know
Ooh.
if that's true, but obviously he died before that actually happened anyway. But it would have been very interesting. If,
That would have
like,
been-
What would our
yeah.
perspective of Walt Disney be if he just like started a creepy cult
Right.
on Walt? In
Is it-
Walt
The
Disney
Walt
World?
cult.
It's kind of already
mean,
a cult.
I was gonna say,
I
it
mean,
kind of
it-
feels like it is sometimes
Kind of
anyway.
developed a cult.
Honestly.
Yeah, I
The
know.
people
I mean,
who like make yearly pilgrimages to Disneyland and stuff.
we know families.
Definitely know somebody like that.
Yeah.
A few
shout
people,
out
maybe.
to me.
Well, we know
my
like
mom, really, but-
entire
didn't mean to call
families
you
whose
out. I
homes
just-
and kitchen appliances and everything are just like
yeah,
red, black, Disney, Mickey shaped. Like
hmm
it's
Don't get
almost creepy.
People are obsessed with it, and it's weird
Yeah, I don't know why.
because it's like it's fine. Like that's
Right.
the one
I
thing.
like Disney too.
Disney has a lot of consistency,
Yes.
but it rarely tends to fall into the realm of being like super interesting to me. And that's not to say that there aren't Disney movies that are deserving of attention. Like
Right.
I do still think this movie belongs on the list, but it's also like
yeah.
in a lot of
But-
ways one of the least interesting movies we've talked about so far.
Yeah.
The plot is super generic. I mean,
It's-
like,
yeah.
it,
And it said like it was based on the the Grimm's fairy tale, but it's
Yeah.
like you could have I don't know.
She's pretty. Die.
It was like
You could have gone lots of ways with
it's
it.
like the foundation for every fairy tale trope ever.
Right.
Like it's you see everything here and you're like, oh, I've seen that redone a million times.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that's the sad thing is like sometimes you see that and you're like, oh, it's really interesting to see the original. Like with
Mhm.
Metropolis,
That's
like
true.
all this imagery is very much inspired by Metropolis that we've seen in these other movies,
Mhm.
and it's cool because they take it in a different direction. But the Metropolis, like the what it's based on,
Right.
is still really enjoyable
Mhm.
as it is. But with Snow White, it's like, oh, I've seen all this
Harder.
done in different ways that made it more interesting because
Yeah.
Snow White is like the most like white bread version of this
Yeah.
type of thing.
Wonder Bread.
Yeah, it's just straight Wonder Bread for animated movie fairy tales,
right.
Yeah.
and there are great things about it. Like I still really think that
Right.
the animation style
It's
is
really great,
different
yeah.
than a lot of the other Disney films.
Mhm.
Even like
Yeah, that's true.
it's really interesting and it's pretty, but also man, I was surprised at how little actually happens in this movie. Like
Yeah.
it's
man.
actually too long at an hour
Yeah.
and 24 minutes in my opinion. Like it's
Agreed.
it
They
could be
dragged
so
it
much
out.
shorter.
Mm-hmm.
You could have made this a half an hour movie really
Yeah.
with what happened, and it would have just been less people slowly creeping around like, oh,
Yeah.
is there something in a
Or
bed?
just-
I'm so
Yeah.
scared of it. That scene goes on for so long,
Or just
It
like
really
all the
does.
random
and it doesn't have
like,
anything visually interesting going
Yeah.
on to warrant that.
Yeah.
You know?
and the scenes of them just like singing and dancing around, like nothing's happening. I guess the animation's kind of fun, but like
Right. And
doesn't
maybe it was
accomplish
more impressive
anything.
at the time. But
Right.
yeah, I guess I think maybe it just like, in comparison to things that maybe it influenced, it
Mhm.
probably doesn't. It's made it less interesting.
Yeah.
Because like it is an instance of where things maybe actually have kind of progressed past this point,
Mhm.
which again I think is interesting, just because like a lot of the other films that we've talked about that have inspired things, it doesn't feel like film has just progressed past this point.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like this has been an inspiration for a lot of different directions that we've gone
Yeah.
with film,
Mhm.
but this
Right.
is just like we've done this better.
Tried out the
We're
first
past
time.
Yeah.
this.
Figure it out later.
I'm proud of them for not shying away from the dark themes.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
if it was especially supposed to be a kid's movie,
Mhm.
well, maybe I'm not
They
proud of
said
them, but
kill.
I'm interested that
I have
they
a lot
didn't.
of appreciation for that. Actually.
Yeah, it was just interesting that they didn't. And I think a lot of the Grimm's fairy tales, like even Little Mermaid,
Mhm.
the actual book version, like those are really dark, and a lot of them don't have happy endings.
Mhm.
But Disney was like, let's make those into movies.
What if it was okay?
Yeah.
I like it.
Like I do have a lot of appreciation for what it's inspired.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. The Brothers Grimm they were both listed as writers on it. So
Oh,
That's
nice.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The Brothers Grimm, who wrote very grim
I think that's
tales.
a cooler way to say it, other
It's
than like,
fun.
oh,
Mm.
they're two names.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
I like
True.
that.
The last name is twice as cool as both of their first names. So
It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Remember
that's their
that.
actual last name, or if that's just like how they.
Pseudonym.
Grim.
Yeah. Like if they had.
They're writing little horror stories for children over here.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, fairy tales.
Oh, it's so cute.
I love this.
Yeah, like I think we definitely do have a little bit more awareness of like what's too dark for a kid. Like I don't know that there was that
Right.
much awareness at the time
Yeah.
of that.
Nope.
Or
It's just
maybe
a
kids
movie.
are able
Yeah,
to take that stuff.
right.
I don't know,
though.
but like,
Like,
it kind of freaks me
a
out.
lot of
when
that
the
goes
kid-
on now, though. I mean, you saw
Right.
many parents took their kids to see Deadpool. It's like, I mean, no one gives a crap.
Yeah.
I just watched.
I mean, like,
Deadpool.
One way or the other. I mean,
That's so rough. I would
I'm
never
not-
take a kid to see Deadpool.
Yeah,
Would
not
you-
real cool with
Would
that.
you take your kid to see Coraline?
I mean, I would take my kid to see Coraline.
Yeah.
I think it's, but I guess that's the thing is like there are animated movies, like even Miyazaki movies that do
Mhm.
dark things, deal with dark themes and kind of creepy stuff in a way that it doesn't feel like it destroys the kid's sense of reality. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like they're not. It doesn't take away your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's creepy and it can become a springboard if a children's movie done right that's dealing with darker themes can become like a launching off point for kids to learn something new about the world and be able to like have a discussion with their parents about it.
Right.
And so I feel like it's the responsibility. And this is not a parenting podcast,
It
obviously.
is now.
It is now. But like I do think that
100
it's kind of the
essential parenting
responsibility of
tips.
like right.
yeah.
Like if you're gonna show your kid something though, it should be like it should lead into, you know, actually being able to dive into like, wow, like watching My Neighbor Totoro and being like, yeah,
Right.
people die. That is like that's something
Mhm.
that's kind of concerning. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I guess not that anybody particularly dies in Totoro, but that's like the constant fear,
Mhm.
like seeing
Right.
these kids are dealing with that.
Mhm.
And I do think that can be like a useful lesson as a child.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that maybe you should like take your kid to see Jojo Rabbit or something and just be like,
Right.
see, look it, Nazis are funny, right?
Hey.
Uh,
Well, it's like
I mean, kind of.
like
Yeah.
you don't have the maturity to be able to deal with it. Like it does need to
Right.
be presented
It's
in a way that
different,
is
yeah.
simple enough that a kid can work their way through it,
right.
even if you deal with something darker.
Yeah, because psychologically, well, let's get into parenting, everybody.
Yeah.
But like, also young kids, especially if it's like maybe just a movie that's darker, they can't always differentiate what's real and what's not
Mm-hmm.
because they're children.
Right.
So it's like they carry those things with them,
Mhm.
images. Like you can't unsee things.
Yeah.
And then yeah, some adult themes that are just like over their heads.
Yeah. Like it needs to be a metaphor that's like direct enough. Like you can't have like layers of like sarcasm and irony
Right.
in your dark themes maybe for a kids movie because it will get missed. Like I've noticed a lot of kids don't seem to understand sarcasm and irony even if they grew up in homes with a lot of that.
Interesting.
Shout out to if any of my younger siblings are listening to
gonna
this in like a
say.
decade, you didn't get sarcasm or irony at all.
At all.
Yeah. You take everything very literally.
So literal. Oh, thinking of that one kiddo in particular is so
Shout
literal.
out to that one.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
You're logical
one
and
that
it's
we
a good
talked about
thing.
before the
Run with it. You're
podcast.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay, guys. You're gonna get through. You're gonna learn more about the world. Just
Don't
message from Sai, like you just don't feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
Even
Right.
though we're making you feel bad about yourself.
Aw.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad about yourself.
You'll learn we was joking
Yeah.
the time we said whatever that one thing
Yeah.
was that
If
we
you
said.
think we're talking about you or not, that's
Yeah.
all it is.
You're
We're
taking
being
things too
sarcastic.
literally,
Yeah, we're being
man. Like, come
sarcastic.
on.
Calm down.
Speaking of parenting, what do y'all think about the dwarves?
Nice segue. Nice. Like knowledge.
I mean, it was,
Keeping
it
us
was
on track.
I scraped the bottom of the barrel there. Yeah.
I appreciate the very different, like, I don't know, just it's so classic and iconic how it's like there's mopey and
and derpy
bashful
and,
and
and chicken.
I only ever
Jeez.
remembered dopey and yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, just the very like contrasting personality types.
Dopey, sneezy, grumpy,
Drugged up.
Doc.
uh,
Bashful,
bashful.
happy. Wait, is the one just happy? No,
Maybe.
I can't remember.
Do you know all
Wow,
the
I
names?
just
I don't
watched
think
this
so.
like
Anybody know
2
all the
days
names?
ago.
We watched this last night. I still don't know.
Doc, bashful, sneezy.
Doc, bashful, sneezy,
Sleepy.
dopey,
Ugh.
grumpy. Oh man.
Dopey.
Oh,
My
here
mom
I
went to
got
the
it.
Obsession
find me
is
for
with
this.
naming dwarves because like you got the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit where it's like you have to memorize all their names and then it's like you get all
Gosh,
these
yeah.
names. Like what is it? The excessive like
Like I can remember
Right.
Thorin, son of Thrain, son
Yeah.
of Thrawn, or whatever.
it's like compulsive
Thrall.
dwarf
Sleepy and
disorder
happy
of,
are
like,
the last two.
You're obsessed with
Sleepy
dwarves
and happy?
naming them.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, it is happy.
yeah. Those are the two most simple ones that we couldn't remember. It is sleepy and happy. Bashful, Doc, dopey, grumpy, sneezy.
Weird.
I feel like this was a good introduction to 7 different personality types.
Yeah.
Bleh.
Sneezy is now a personality type.
Bro, I'm totally like I'm the sneezy, you know.
I see it.
Well,
What
like,
does
I
that
think
make
I'm
you? It's
sleepy.
Type 7.
Like just now, and I said, "Bless you."
Yes.
Sleazy should be one.
What is your Enneagram?
The eighth dwarf is sleazy.
Sleazy.
Gosh. Evil brother.
Wow, I almost went even
I'm
further
sorry.
with the 9th one, but I'm not going to say that. Keep it to myself. Anyway, I think the dwarves are fun.
Do you know?
They cute.
Yeah, they kept a nice, entertaining-ish.
Yeah.
You were kind of like
Aspect
your
to it all?
attention span was waning, but then there's these dwarves. Oh, look at the dwarves. Oh,
Like they
that's
do
kind of what
definitely
happened,
have
you know.
like at least if we're talking visually, like they definitely look more cartoony in like a classic Disney way than like
Yes.
Snow White or the Prince. You know,
Yeah,
they
it's
have
all
like a
in
very
the
different
eyes.
animation style almost.
That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't even really think about that, but yeah.
Obviously, Dopey's the most iconic.
Right.
IMO. Grumpy's pretty high up there.
Derp.
Mhm.
Derp.
Grumpy
Yeah.
is in a lot of memes.
Yep.
That's true.
We appreciate him.
And I like
What
I like
tiers
the-
are grumpy memes on? Like tier list.
Probably like
I
low
don't
tier
know.
Facebook memes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think. I feel
The
like
white
above
moms.
Minion
Vibe.
meme,
Yeah.
but like not too far above Minion
Yeah.
memes.
He's there. He's around. He's
sitting there.
He's floating around in my DMs somewhere.
Grumpy slides into your DMs.
What up, Grumpy?
Ugh.
Grumpy, no.
Makes me grumpy, you know? Like,
Yeah.
what's this guy doing here? Like,
Yeah, true.
Good stuff.
It was.
Yeah, okay, if you had to pick like, one dwarf, I mean, like if we're doing like if we're doing a fuck Marry Kill.
Oh God.
oh man.
I was not prepared for this question when I woke up this morning.
Well, I'd say grumpy because for kill.
Which one?
For kill.
Okay.
Because like then it would sort of be like sweet release for him, you know? And it's like, oh, you're not
like,
grumpy anymore.
finally.
Yeah, it's like you're not grumpy anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you can ascend to
time.
bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say all three for grumpy.
Oh,
I have to follow that. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Come on. How about you, Hunter? Are
Oh,
you kind of
God.
more of a bashful, more of a Doc kind of a man?
I do like Doc.
Yeah.
I'll marry Doc.
Get married.
I was thinking that dude, he'd be like good
So,
husband
okay,
quality.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That just makes me. I was already thinking about saying something about him anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm just biased. I will kill Sneezy because he's a danger to society.
COVID.
He's spreading the coves.
He needs to wear a
And
flipping
he's just
mask.
destructive potentially. Everyone like ducks and hides every time he's about to sneeze. Like he's gonna blow something up,
Yeah.
which I guess never happens. It
He
always
kind
seems
of
like
blows
it's okay.
everybody away in that one scene. They're
Oh,
sitting on
yeah.
the chair and spinning around.
That's true.
It's aggressive. That sneezing. Yeah, definitely kill Sneezy, marry Doc,
Public
and
menace. Oh fuck. I don't
hate this.
like this.
Regret everything.
So anyway, I will
One of
salvage
them,
this
I
podcast
guess.
episode.
Okay.
Silas, did you have any remaining information on your report?
Nah, that was what I managed to scrounge up. I mean, it's
Very
kind of
proud.
like it's not the most exciting movie to look at. I mean, it's kind of just like it's cool because it's like one of the first full-length animated ones,
Right.
and it made a lot of money. But other than that, it's not super notable to me, and I feel like it's forgettable to y'all too, at least a bit. I mean,
Yeah, to some extent.
it's
Wait,
kind of like
I understand its
It's kind
influence.
of it teeters in my mind. I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I'll think about it, maybe I won't. But like,
Maybe I won't.
I don't know.
still
But I
think
do
it's
care-
worth seeing.
Yeah,
But it-
agreed.
Yeah,
But definitely,
it's essential, but like barely.
yeah, like I would say that it would be interesting to do like a similar like mini version of this podcast of like, the I don't know 50 essential animated films or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
This would be on there, and it would be it's important, but like
Because like the plot is
Also
just
to make
so
it also
generic.
memorable.
It's
Right.
so
Yeah.
it is so simple, like incredibly simple. I don't like.
emotionally, there's not much to latch
Yeah.
upon, and
Mhm.
animation as a medium, there's a lot of other more maybe visually interesting movies
With more
within
emotional
animation.
depth too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Or at least just more interesting stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Like again,
Other than
the,
frolicking through some woods.
the aforementioned Coraline. Like I wouldn't say I remember or like everything that happens in that story or like everything I felt about it. I just know that I was way more into it
Yeah.
than something like Snow White because it was just more
Awesome.
visually
Honestly, I
interesting
love that
overall.
Claymation is awesome.
Yeah, like it just
yeah.
they're doing more. So.
Man, I don't know if I have
Super
any
impressive.
claymation movies on this list.
Yeah, I don't think
Oof.
so. That's okay.
That
Seems like you
sucks.
got
But we
to
can do a
mold
bonus
your
episode.
list
Side
a little bit.
recommendation.
Bonus episode
would be fun.
for
yeah.
the Patreon.
Oh yeah, so I was actually here's the thought. I know a lot of podcasts do like premium episodes, and that's something we might be able to do.
Ooh.
Like, you know, it's a bit longer. Maybe it's like a 2-3 hour episode, but it's going through like things in more depth. Like, we could go through like you know, the top 5 essential animated films, and we just like do deep dives into stuff.
Be fun.
And we could stick that on Bandcamp. We could also stick that on our Patreon feed, and then, you know, people are choosing if they want that stuff.
It could also count. Coraline could also count as a horror movie for
Mhm.
me.
True. That would be cool. Yeah,
I love that
pretty
movie,
good.
but I am still afraid of it.
it's pretty creepy. Mm-hmm.
Good times. And yeah.
Oh, Silas, you said that there were other like full length animated features before this. Do you
Yeah,
have
it
any
was
info
like
on those.
Yeah, there were several. The problem is a lot of them are like lost films.
Oh, okay.
Like you can't view like most of them. It was on a Wikipedia page. Most of them that they listed, it was like lost, and there was like one that was not lost, and then the rest were all lost. And that one was from Germany somewhere. I forget what it's called, but
So this might just be
let me-
like the first,
yeah.
you know, feature length animated like Hollywood film.
right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely this. Yeah, I think it's still kind of partially still gets the award in my mind, just because
Right.
it's like it's the most significant. I mean, all those other ones would have been remembered if they were like. I feel like they would have at least, you know,
Yeah,
like because that's
potentially.
pretty significant, like full length animation. Like, I feel like that's something where you wouldn't just like lose it, but I guess someone did. So I don't know.
Right. Well, you know, we also
It's
we
like,
live
I
in
guess-
America, and we kind of sort of grew up with this sort of
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I've been noticing that more, like kind of the Hollywood bias of like,
Yeah, and
I
there's a
didn't
lot
know
more
about
movies
the
out
Passion
there.
of Joan of Arc, even though the cinematography is like beyond for the time
And the
and the
acting.
acting.
Yeah.
Like it's an incredible
Wow.
movie that like wasn't replicated in early Hollywood even remotely.
Yeah.
But even
Yeah.
still, we were remembering like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, The Wizard of Oz, man. Ugh. I mean, I guess
Oh,
that's for another episode.
That's for another
but
day.
you know,
Another day. A very
Dude, a week from
separate
now,
day
I'm
from
excited.
today.
Definitely not today.
I'm excited to return. Well, yeah, like
Yeah, come back next week. We'll chat about it, man.
yeah. No, I'm down. Are we good for another episode when I come back?
For sure.
You know,
Cool.
I'd say you're welcome. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After today, I'd say
I'm sorry that I didn't have as much prepared.
You've proven yourself.
Phew.
it was a good time.
Phew.
We
Man.
got the info we needed.
You guys don't know how much
Definitely.
sweat I have right now. Just like I'm on the
He's
first podcast
dripping.
ever that I've been on, and it's like, wow.
Feel you.
You've done it. You've succeeded.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Wow. That's on my
Approve.
bucket list now. It's off, I guess. I kind of want to leave it on there though, so I can keep doing podcasts.
Yeah. That's
fair.
You know?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Why not? You are the friend of the pod, so
Instead of like a
Cool.
checkbox on the bucket list, it's like a counter.
yeah.
And you're just like, I want this
yeah,
number
yeah.
to be
How
as
many
high
can
as
I do
possible.
before I die?
It's like
Yeah.
one of those restaurant like ticket punch things
Exactly.
where yeah.
Yeah, you just like, I'm just going to record a bunch of podcast episodes, and every time this number goes up, and I look at it on my deathbed and be like, oh, yeah,
Yeah, I
look
mean
at all those podcasts.
yeah, gotta recount all your deathbed stats before
yeah.
you pass. Like
Oh.
gotta look over those stats one more time.
Indeed.
It's the feel.
Do you have a list of like other like recommended films that are like kind of in the same vein?
Yeah,
Some
well, I
category.
mean, if you're someone who would like Sleeping Beauty, it's super similar to Snow White, like from what I remember. But I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of either one, but it's still
Right.
like, I guess if that's your cup of tea, then like,
Go for it, bro.
yeah, go for
I
it.
do say
Like,
I would say Sleeping Beauty it has a lot more. Like I watched
yeah.
it. Some
I got those
Yeah.
movies confused.
It's
Like,
It's got
when
a
I was
dragon
younger.
in it. Like, come on.
Yeah,
It's definitely the dragon's awesome, but it does have just more depth in general in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
That
The
I was.
Prince is like the same though.
It's true. It does have basically
Yeah.
the same dude, but I think
I would rather watch
there's
that.
at least some depth to that
Yeah.
story.
Yes.
Like I
agreed.
remember thinking like, this is a 4-star film. I enjoy it. But
Right.
yeah, I guess we should do that, like ratings.
Yeah.
How do you guys
yes.
feel about this one? How does it rank in our movies so far for you?
I don't know. I'd give it maybe 3.5 or 3.
That's
I'd
fair.
say 3.5 just out of like reverence.
Right.
Otherwise, it'd be like a 3. But the
Right.
simplicity of the plot really like kicks it down a few notches. I mean, like that's not so good. Like it's so like I mean, it's really pretty, right? But like,
Yeah.
there's not a lot there. You don't feel like you're watching very much. You know, like
Yeah.
Same for me. I think I gave it a 3.5. Like again, the animation's really impressive. They do a lot of really cool stuff.
yeah,
I
they
think,
invented a
like,
camera for it.
Yeah,
so,
they had a new camera.
yeah.
I think stuff like the water shots. I think the mirror looks really cool. All that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So I really enjoyed those parts of it. But just nothing happens. Like there are simple plots that can still be really good, but like this is bordering on like there's like 3 events in this movie, but they happen over like an hour and 20 minutes. I'm just like,
It's just there's not really enough there to justify it.
dragged it down quite a bit for me, but
Mhm.
still all right. You could do a lot worse.
I give it 3.5 solely for the scene where the queen is like walking down to like her lair and the cape is just flowing.
Yeah.
That was
Yes.
awesome. Like that looked
That was
so
great.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely 3.5 because I don't think I had an excellent time with it.
Mhm.
Like I do have a lot of respect for it, and I'm very sorry if it's like your favorite movie or whatever. But like for me, it just like
Right.
was fine. I'd seen it before. I watched it again. It wasn't the kind of movie that like you watch as a kid and you like, and then you see it again and you like it more. It was like I like this about the same or less. It didn't really leave too much of an impression on me then, and it doesn't matter too much to me now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I mean, like, good on it, I guess. No hard feelings, Snow White. You do you.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave it 3.5 stars also. I think, like, I appreciate it. I have nothing else to say.
Right. Like
Agreed.
on the polishedness of its like editing and production quality and
Yeah.
whatever, I'd be like, you know what? It's not the worst movie on this list in
No.
some of those qualities.
Yeah.
Like Duck Soup is kind of rough in a production sense
Right.
to me, but at the same time, Duck Soup is really funny and
Right.
carries you through the entire time. And I would
Yeah.
I would definitely put this at the bottom of the ones that we've covered
Probably.
so far. Yeah.
I think the appreciation also just goes for like how influential it was, like you said. Like it really did. It just was like the foundational movie
Yeah.
for all of the Disney princess movies to come.
Mm-hmm.
So, good job,
Yeah.
buddy.
Right. It definitely started something that clearly has a lot of cultural relevance, but
right.
Yeah.
I would say that's maybe the main reason why it's on this list or deserves to be on it in general. Is just the cultural relevance more than
Right.
much else.
More
How
than how good
fun
it
it
is,
is.
Yeah. And I mean, like, okay, with Grand Illusion being like the absolute like top of what, old movies can be, it just doesn't hold up. Which is interesting though, as I was noting, like kind of my ranking of all of the movies we've covered so far. All of the like Hollywood films are like dead last for me, like all of them. Because I think the French films are all at the top. You got Metropolis sitting there with its German expressionism in the middle, and then like after that is all of the Hollywood.
Right.
Because it does feel like a
Yeah.
lot of those techniques just boiled down into like the common denominator or whatever.
Right. Hollywood's just so
Basic.
formulaic most of the time to me. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so like they're so afraid to try new things. I mean, there's so many plot lines that are just the same, rehashed over and over.
Right.
And then now they've taken it to the next step. Everything's a sequel now. Like there's literally no
Or
no
a
new
remake
anything. Yeah.
that you think is going to be interesting and then isn't. Sad
Right.
times Mulan. I really believed in you. Thought you
Was
could
it
do
good?
it.
Was it?
I've heard it stinks.
Oh.
It seems like it's gotten pretty bad reception.
which is actually
unfortunately.
really could have been something.
Oh my gosh!
It looked good from the
I-
trailers.
I loved Zima.
Right. Like it seemed like it would be more promising than a lot of the other ones, but then it came out and it's just like, it's just. I think I saw someone say that they thought it was worse than The Lion King, which was a lot.
Ow.
Yeah. There's this one shot that's been going around on Twitter though, and I don't know if you've seen it, but I want to show it to you because it's really funny. Like not in a good way. Like, okay, yeah, we'll look at that later.
Yeah, I like the idea of like, we need to make our like Chinese masterpiece or whatever, let's definitely get the director of The Zookeeper's Wife. That's definitely who should make this film.
Beautiful.
It's just not a brilliant thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I say, like, make Mulan into, like, kind of an indie drama and get Lulu Wang to direct it. Come on.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
That'd be cool.
That's kind of the
Don't
clear
do that
choice.
to me.
Like,
Farewell. So good. Anyway, yeah, I think Hollywood ends up being formulaic, but it can have an energy to it. Like, again, we were talking about with A Star is Born. Like,
Well,
it
yeah.
definitely fits all the Hollywood tropes, but in this way of, like, acknowledging the Hollywood mythology and making it feel like something. You know what I mean? Like, that movie is great. Legitimately. The original. Because I haven't seen the other ones.
Yeah,
but,
totally.
But, like, it belongs. Like, Hollywood can do some
Right.
good stuff.
Yeah, we've seen it.
And it could do some good stuff earlier than this film, really. And this is fine.
We're fine. We're
This
good.
is fine. It's
We're
okay.
great.
All right. It's good.
so
We-
the other film that just it popped in my head out of the ether, the first film that's not lost of like earliest full length animated. It's called The Adventures of Prince Ahmed. Yeah, it's made in Germany. So
Interesting. Do you
I
have a
know.
year on that?
yeah. Let me think for a second. Oh yeah, so 1926 was.
I
the
just
year.
remembered.
Dang.
Oh man, yeah, I remembered.
1926.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty
that's
good.
like a whole 11 years before this one came
Right,
out.
and there's
Nice.
several listed that came out before. So, but I guess all of them were lost,
Right.
quote unquote.
Yeah. And this probably you were saying that I think we were talking off pod about how they were thinking that this was going to be a flop. Was that
Yeah,
the
so
case?
that was something I learned in my film school class. I couldn't find much about it online, so I didn't really cite it. But one of my film professors told me that at the time it faced heavy scrutiny for people were accusing it of being similar to the Three Pigs, which I don't know how true that is because it's obviously not really. But a lot of people were accusing it of that, and so it kind of got a bad rep early on. And yeah, it also. Yeah, so it's just but I don't think. I mean, obviously, it didn't really affect it though.
Right.
They got to release it 7 times, or re-release
Yeah.
it 7 times.
And it clearly made, at the very
Yeah.
least, the idea of a full-length animated film a respectable idea
Yeah.
enough that it, now we have this
I'm glad for
massive
that,
long
you know,
tradition
like-
of that,
Yeah.
Animated films, and we could obviously talk about it more in 2 years when we get to Spirited Away, but animated films get sectioned off a lot of times as a separate thing that's worth less,
Yeah.
which is dumb because I think that
It
honestly,
takes
the fact that
more
an animated
effort.
picture
Honestly,
has not won Best
Yeah.
Picture is ridiculous because there are so many years that it deserves it. Spirited Away totally would have deserved it,
Right.
But
Agreed.
oftentimes it's an animated film will get nominated for Best Animated Picture and nothing else, and it's ignored otherwise.
Yeah.
And not that the Oscars are representative of the entire film industry, but at the same time, they are to some extent.
So much power.
And yeah, they have a lot of influence. And so when people look at them animated films are for kids and they're not normal films.
Yeah.
You need a live action films are the real films.
right?
It's dumb.
It's such a shame how it goes now, though. I mean, unless you're Phil Lord and Chris Miller, unless you're those guys, it's basically what you do is you come up with a crummy idea, and you load it up with all this star power. You release a shitty trailer. Everyone forgets about your movie, and then it goes on video on demand, and then you're done. Like Arctic Wolf, Arctic Fox, what the crap? But
Yeah,
it's
that thing- that
these
thing
movies
stunk.
have
I don't know why I
really
watched
top
that.
tier stars in them, though. It'll be
Yeah.
like Spies in Disguise or whatever like that has Tom Holland and Will Smith, right? And it's
Right. Yeah.
what and just all these random it's a movie where you wouldn't otherwise see it, but then you see all the names attached. You're like, whoa,
Right.
that looks like a crappy movie, but I might see it because of these. And so
Yeah.
they just keep doing that, and then
But
it's
for every one of those, there's there's a Your Name, there's a Kubo
Yeah.
and the Two Strings, there's a
I mean, that
you know.
stuff definitely comes out too,
there's
I
some
Love
amazing
Dogs.
stuff that does come out that I think kind of gets the short end of the stick on that sort of thing because
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
animated, which is not fair.
Yeah, it does feel like you see less of those though.
Yeah.
Like the higher
Yeah,
the
there's
higher
definitely
quality ones.
more I guess that's probably fair. Is there's probably more of just the really low tier
Mm-hmm.
soulless
Yeah, it feels like the more of the animated movies that I come across and feel like I see at least are the ones that are just very generic, dumb, not really worth a second look.
Definitely when it comes to American film, like that's all that we're turning out right now. But like,
totally,
it's
not great.
If you're willing to read subtitles, like there's so many good things out there.
Exactly. Yeah, well, and then it's like they dub a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
So even if you don't like subtitles, it's
not
like,
everything has a terrible dub.
Yeah,
some of them are pretty good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the dub for Princess Mononoke, that was great.
Yeah,
I watched it.
Oh man, all the Ghibli dubs are really good.
Yeah,
I still think
it was fantastic.
I still have not watched a silent voice subtitled because I think the dub is pretty good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I really have a lot of appreciation for the way that they did that dub, especially like having
that's an amazing movie.
The deaf character played by a deaf actress and like
was
really putting effort into it instead of just like let's just churn it out, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. But at the same time, there are also Yuasa films that like will have a dub, and there's just so much in the writing that you just never really want to listen to that.
I can't imagine watching his stuff.
Like I immediately turned Ride Your Wave. Like I was watching it the other day, and I instantly like switched it over to subtitles because I'm like, for some reason, his movies just I don't want to hear a dub.
Yeah,
you know,
I wouldn't either.
Anyway. We can be done.
A little off
we
track,
can be done.
It's okay.
Yeah. Well, we stayed on the topic of animation. So
animation,
like,
I guess.
We decently talked about Snow White. today.
Right. It's
This
just
really
such a
should be
like.
called
How do you
Tangent,
stretch
the
out a
episode.
long conversation about that? Like, it's such a like empty movie in a lot of ways. Like, it's like.
It's hard.
I mean, it's just like a short story that would take like a few pages if you wrote it out. You know,
it definitely seems to have like the least to talk about of any movie we've covered so far.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Like again, comparing it to something like Grand Illusion, which has all of its strengths in its writing, mostly, and just the content of it in that way. Coming to this, where it's just like nothing happens.
Yeah. And it's not even like it's the prettiest movie we've covered so far, but like it is pretty.
It is, yeah.
You know,
there's stuff to talk about. It's just different.
It's just weird that this is the kind of thing that people remember from like when people think of 30s movies is basically the next 3 that we're doing, and it's like, you mean like some of the weaker ones of the notable films from the 30s, you know. Like I think I still probably prefer King Kong, even though King Kong has a lot of like stupid things in its writing, because like. The way that some of the effects on the way that the action is organized is like really kinetic and interesting, and gives you enough that you feel like you're getting a unique experience.
Agreed.
And this, I don't know. They did it. They really did do that.
Yeah. It's all good. It's fun.
Yeah. Not to crap on it again. I think this one actually really does belong on this list.
Yeah. I mean, it's not horrible. Like it's you know, by any stretch. It's like it's good. You know, it's okay. It's suitable.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just because something is influential does not mean that like it has to continue to be hailed as a masterpiece, and that you know, we need to love it with all of our souls. But you know, it's worth appreciating for what is there, and.
Indeed.
You know, her singing Into the Well.
Yeah, that was the best shot
like
by
that,
far.
That is worth appreciating, you know?
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Sure.
So, anyway, I think we're pretty much good to sign off.
An hour.
You can plug our you know, our website, Movie Overload Pod. You know, we're on all the things. We're getting stuff up on YouTube the next day.
Subscribe.
So, you know, uploads on Wednesdays, and then YouTube versions coming out on Thursdays. And that's fun. We'll maybe eventually start the Patreon. We got all the things.
By the time you're hearing this, there will be a Patreon.
Probably, yeah.
Support us for 10,000 a month.
10,000. If the $1 million tier is the one that's like really going to get you all the stuff, but like 10,000, you know, is still much appreciated. You know, not quite enough to get you a shout out on the podcast, but you know, well.
I mean, these episodes producing the amount of power that goes behind the scenes, the amount of effort that has to be contributed it cannot be understated. It's like enormous, like or cannot be overstated. It's like enormous.
And like I know Joe Rogan's been wanting to get on this podcast for a while, but like,
and
he's
Wes
just,
Anderson,
and
Ryan,
Gosling. Which one? Oh yeah.
Well, no, it's just
and
first name.
Johnson.
We're on first name basis, right? Ryan. Yeah. At this point, are we like we're just gonna?
But like
Ryan.
at the moment, like they're maybe not big enough deals to have on yet. Is that
when Ryan Gosling wins his Oscar?
Right.
we'll consider
Yeah.
it.
When it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's won his Oscars, so we can have him on. you know?
Yeah, I don't know
That's
if
true.
he's really
But-
quite.
That was for that Bear
Our-
movie, right?
our
Like,
speed,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Woody
It's a
Allen
fun
needs to
movie.
quit spamming us.
Fuck you, Woody Allen.
Seriously.
Get out of our DMs.
Get out of my DMs, grumpy.
It's so like you.
Grumpy Woody Allen.
True.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for listening,
Yeah.
lads and ladettes.
There
Not
is
how
a
I would
word
have said
for
it,
that.
Cheesy.
That's not it.
I approve. The one ladette that listens to us.
all neutral vibes, I guess. And as we say here at the end of every episode of the Movie Overload podcast,
Curses. Random singing two birds sounds.
Yeah.
I feel like I had
you
one.
want to give us a few bars?
No.
Give us a few bars. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
I'm not
pretty
really
good.
trying. Yeah, here, there you go. That's it. That's the one.
Oh my
The
gosh.
smoke, I can't sing.
My
I got
sister and I
that.
used to do this thing where she could sing in that register, but she needed her voice to trill, so I'd have to put my finger on her voice box and just she sounded exactly like her. It would have been good to get her on the episode for that.
Dang it. I tried.
Man.
Yeah.
I tried.
We could have had like a double guest special,
It could have been
Like,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh
I guess that'll
gosh.
never happen because she hates movies
Sad.
and us.
Eh,
I know she specifically hates Hannah, but
it's fine. I'm already aware.
but that's because Hannah called her out on a few episodes ago. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I'm still sorry. I take it back.
And maybe I organized it so it would happen that way. Maybe that was on me, but
It keeps me up at night, though. I can't believe I did that.
What was it? You were talking about our soulless eyes or something. I don't remember. What it was.
I don't even remember. I just remember panicking after we said it.
I'm so sorry to put you through all of this on this podcast.
This is fine.
Oh.
It's good.
Putting it out in the public sphere.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
we should have ended this by now.
It's
I
a
don't know what
long
I'm
one.
doing.
Let's cut it
Anyway,
here.
thanks,
We
folks.
can just play the outro.
Bye.
Bye.